Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of The Art of Volunteering. Today, I have a new friend. She was connected, we got connected through a mutual friend, Zandra. So, a shout out to Zandra Matthews for doing this. That's awesome. Today, we're having Rebecca Piorko-Shelly, and she's the mentor coordinator at JusticeWorks YouthCare. Did I get that right?
You got that
All
perfectly right,
right.
Stormy.
And whose mission is to build better futures for youth and communities. They are in many states: Pennsylvania, Ohio, Maryland, South Carolina, Colorado, and Florida. So I'm very excited that Rebecca could be with us today. So welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you, Stormy. It is really an honor and a pleasure to be here. I am grateful that Zandra introduced us and that I have the opportunity to talk to you and talk to those who are listening.
That's awesome. All right, I'm going to just start off can you explain to my listeners about who justice what justice work is, like who you are, what your mission is, and just what that looks like in the community.
Wow, so it's pretty expansive. JusticeWorks YouthCare is an organization that was established 25 years ago. We are celebrating our 25th birthday, actually, in the month of July. And we are an organization in the multiple states as you identified, and we've just expanded into the state of Delaware as well. We provide community-based services uh, connected through children and youth services in the appropriate county and state that we are located, in
Okay.
addition to providing juvenile justice services, support for children and families with children that are involved with the juvenile justice system. We also have a multitude of other kind of programs within our agency, varying from the county needs. So it could be anything from transportation to one-on-one counseling to group counseling for boys, group counseling for girls, case management, mentoring program. We don't have mentoring programs everywhere in every state. It is a rather new development for us over the last 4 years. Um, but we do so many things, trying to help children and families throughout the community, throughout the states that you've mentioned, and we continue to expand.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, volunteers fit into this how? Just through the mentoring, or are there other places that they fit into?
Primarily through the mentoring program. 90% of our programming is through paid staff. And that is how we accomplish our goals, um, with our children and families and the various agencies that we interconnect with. So the volunteering is primarily through the mentoring program. Yes.
Can you share a little bit what the mentoring program looks like? Maybe how people hear about it, qualifications, just share about what it is.
Absolutely. So for my particular mentoring program, which is located in Chester County, Pennsylvania, um, you can learn about it by going to our website, which is www.justiceworks youthcare.com. But also I'm out there in the community tabling at events all over Chester County to make the community aware that this exists. So the mentoring program is I don't mind saying this because they are actually part of my world. Um, it's kind of like big brothers, big sisters. And a lot of people, when I say that to them, it immediately clicks. And
Okay.
so this is one-on-one mentoring, that we, bring in volunteer adults that want to build a relationship with a child, ages 14 to 23,
Okay.
throughout the Chester County area. The children come from Chester County, and mentors can come from anywhere as long as they're willing to come into Chester County and be with them. Um, so it's a really cool program. I just love this program and just think it's a great opportunity for individuals to give back to the children in the community. So this isn't about me, and this isn't about Justice Works. This is about people in the community giving back to the children in the community and enriching their lives. But getting a hold of me, communicating with me is how you get connected into it. Um, I have information out there. You can give me information through the QR code that we have. through my email, through my phone number, and communicate and reach out to me. And we can further discuss all the little details and the vetting that I have to do and the financial reimbursement that I offer. There's just so many nice aspects to this program.
That's awesome. We'll put the your contact information in the show notes when we publish the episode. What does a typical, or is there a typical session looks like when you're saying they're one-on-one sessions? Is there something that is it free form? Is there like a curriculum that you follow? What would that look like?
Well, there is no curriculum that we
Okay.
follow. And thank you for asking that, because there is, there's many different kinds of mentoring programs out there. There are faith-based programs. There are educational based programs. There are sports focused mentoring. Um, Ours is really is a free flowing one-on-one mentoring program whereby the mentor and the mentee decide what it is that they want to do.
Okay.
They get together and they talk about what they like. This is an opportunity for a child to build a positive relationship with an adult that they trust and they want to go out into the community and have fun with. So they really can go out and almost do anything. They can go to the beach. They can go to the movies. They can go for a walk in the park. They can go out to dinner. They can go for an ice cream cone. Um, they can go canoeing. It is really nice that there's the freedom there for the child and the mentor to communicate and talk to each other and decide what they'd like to do together that would be fun. We encourage mentors to encourage the child, the mentee, to try something new. Like, if it's something they've never done before, they've never been to before, and they're willing to be brave and try that, we definitely encourage that, because we want these opportunities to open up doors and worlds that maybe neither of them have before. Maybe they're both trying something for the first time. And how exciting is that, to experience something together and be brave and trusting and have fun? And while all this is going on, the most important part of it is that they're building a relationship. They're talking, they're interacting, they're building trust, they're engaging, they're making friends. And it's just an amazing thing. So I love that about this program. We don't really have group activities, because that's not. I mean, I've tried to do it a couple times. We try if we can, but it's very. All my mentors, like, they're all over the county, right? And they come from different areas, and the children are all from all over the area, right? So Chester County, Pennsylvania, is a big place, and so it's kind of hard to bring everybody together on the same schedule to get something, where we can have 10 mentors and 10 mentees come together and do something like that. And it's okay, because the most important thing is this one-on-one relationship that's getting built. It's the flexibility of this program allows for the individuality of the child to come out, the mentor to come out, and for them to do things together. It's, the parent or parents or the caregiver obviously know where the kid and mentor is going to be, you know, communicated. So, they can go and have fun and be safe. And it's just really a nice open-ended process there.
That's awesome.
I love it.
So two questions for that. One, how many mentor sets do you have, mentor mentees? And the other question is there like a profile of a mentor? Like, is there something that you look for, or are there types of skills that like help with those relationships? Those are my two questions.
Okay, wow, they are really big questions.
I'm sorry.
No, I love it. So, all right, tell me the first one again.
Okay, how many in you're based in Chester County, so how many mentor mentee sets do you have currently?
Currently, I have 12.
Okay.
So that might not sound like a lot. Um, We and the numbers are like that because we continue to recruit volunteers out of the community, and people are busy, and you got to find the right person to be able to do that stuff, right? Also, we're a young program.
Okay.
We've only been in operation since November of 2019, and if you stop and think, which
Okay.
everyone's like,
COVID.
oh, I know what she's going to say next. COVID hit March of 2020.
Yeah.
And here I am with a brand new program trying to find mentors in a time when no one wants to be with anyone
Yeah.
for the logical, obvious reasons,
Right.
right? It makes sense. And so it's a little bit of a bumpy road there in the beginning. And so as we kind of are quote unquote moving away from the really tragic, horrible COVID stuff, things are picking back up.
Okay.
And people are willing to come into the community and be more active and hang out and do things, and we all know that, we all see that people are out and doing. um so I'm just hoping to continue to build this program and have more and more matches, right?
Do you have a
And
goal? I'm sorry. Do you have a goal?
we do have a goal. Our goal is actually 25 matches.
Okay.
So I know that sounds small. I mean, when you think of big brothers and big sisters, you think, and there are some other big agencies out there doing mentoring. They have hundreds of matches. You know, we're getting up off the ground. We're trying to get to that 25. And you know what? My goal is to continue to grow from there. And we only can grow from there, right? But we're getting there. Like we're almost halfway there.
That's
So
awesome. I love
I
it.
think so. I think so. And okay, so to find the mentors, wow,
I like a
what
profile.
kind of
Is there one?
profile? So I think that that's an interesting question because sometimes people think that they have to be a social worker or a teacher or a fireman or a policeman. Like they have to be somebody that works with people to be a volunteer mentor. And that's wonderful if those individuals want to volunteer, of course. But a mentor can be anyone that has a good heart and wants to give time, love, compassion, friendship, reliability, and consistency to a young person. That's really what it's about. So here's how it works. So someone approaches me, I'm tabling somewhere, or maybe even after this podcast, someone's going to call me and reach out. I'm going to sit down with that person and interview them. I'm going to talk to them. What are their interests? Why do they want to talk to me? Why do they want to be a mentor? Talk to me. Tell me where you're coming from. And then, I get a vibe from them, right? As the kids say, you
Yeah.
know, I get that vibe and see where they're coming from and see how, genuinely interested they are. And if they're not, that's okay too. They can say no, thank you, because that's what the interview's about, right? It's about learning and hearing what's expected, what they want to do, what they don't want to do, um, and how we go about, and how we go about doing this on an ongoing basis. So if someone says no, thank you, that's okay too, because then we know right from there. We don't want somebody to come into this that can't give that minimal 4 hours a month and that minimal 1 year commitment. Because you got to be able to, you got to be there for the kid. You got to be there for the kid.
They need consistency because of
Yeah,
where they're at in their journey. They need
absolutely.
the adult to show up.
Absolutely, Stormy. Absolutely. Hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we go through a full vetting process. We do all the clearances, criminal, child abuse, fingerprint, drug screening, driver's license check. We make sure everyone is as safe as I can possibly secure.
Right.
And then I provide supervision, I provide training. I'm there to answer calls. I'm there if you're out in the community with your kiddo and you're stuck and something's happening, call me. I'm there. I carry my phone around with me all the time, you know, and and I think that that's important to do because I would appreciate that if I was being a mentor in that role like that. So that's part of my job. Part of my role is to make sure I'm there to support my mentors, and my mentees. The kids have called me too. Which is kind of fun. I love that. So yeah, it's a whole process, but it's that person with good heart and the right frame of mind and positivity and that drive, that desire to do it. And I know this might sound a little bit um funny, but I know in my gut when I know. Like, I
Yep.
know when I meet people.
Yep.
Um and I ask people to be honest, right? Like, tell me straight up if you think this is something you can do. And if it's not, it's okay. Like I said, it's okay to be no thank you.
That's right.
Totally, totally okay. No blame, no shame, no
Yeah.
guilt. You know?
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Can you could say you've been doing this since 1990, I'm sorry, 2019.
2019, yeah.
Or found 1999, got my
Yes.
dates mixed up. So, okay, in that short time, COVID allowed, can you share a story of impact? Something
Oh,
that you have seen as a result of a mentor pairing?
oh my gosh. Um, wow. Okay. So there's a few.
Okay, take
So
your top 2.
yeah, I think one of them is very intensely um significant.
Okay.
I have a young lady with a mentor, with a female mentor. Not that that really matters, but that's just to help give you some frame of mind. So
Mhm.
she's like 14 years old, and she was connected with this mentor, and they just developed the most amazing relationship. And I think that this story will drive home how the relationship building is, and how much a child, a mentee, can rely upon and depend upon and know that their mentor is there. So, during the course of their time together over this past year, um, this 14-year-old girl, she has a sister that's 16 years old, and she doesn't have a mentor. So, one thing that happened is the mentor calls me and says, her sister really wants to hang out with her and they want to do things together. She really likes what her sister says about me. And is it okay if I take both of them out? I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, please, please do that. Like, I mean, what just a what how organic could it get, right?
Right, right.
So that, first of all, that was like really nice. But then the unfortunate thing that happened a few months back is, tragically, their father was killed.
Oh my.
Um, and the most amazing, for me, one of the most telling, amazing things about this situation is the 14-year-old girl called the mentor to talk about it.
Nice.
And I mean, how that is just an example of trust building and relationship building. And when it's done right,
Yeah.
that 14-year-old girl trusted her mentor to talk about this and to cry with her. Not only, I mean, and then the mentor, like, immediate, like, let's get together. Like, can I come see you? Do you want to come see me? Do you want to do something together? Just to take a little break from the stress, because it was very tragic death. Um, and it was really actually pretty horrible. Um, and his life was taken by his ex-girlfriend.
Oh my.
Their father's life was taken by his ex-girlfriend. And so she, gathered them up, and they went out for ice cream, and they talked, and then a couple days, then the funeral had occurred, and then they called her again and asked her to take them to the gravesite. I mean, like, I just can't express how beautiful that relationship is, and how beautiful and how trust building that those girls value that mentor, their friend, that person that they could call and go do that together with. To me, that's mind blowing to me. You know, um, mind blowing to me. And so I think that's a significant story. I think it's very telling of how important having a mentor in your life is. Like, you know, like one in three kids don't have a mentor. And I can't even remember, like, when I was a kiddo, I didn't have a mentor. And I'm not really sure it was talked about so much when I was a kid, but like in the most recent 25, 30 years, you hear about it a lot, and Big Brothers Big Sisters, like, big all over TV. And and there's so many programs throughout so many counties and so many states. It's just drives home. That story, I think, is an example of driving home the significance of building that relationship. And you know and I I have another story. Like, I don't mean to be driving. I'm sitting here thinking, oh my goodness, like, I'm driving this, like, it's kind of like a sad story, but I think the point is the beautifulness, if I can use that word, um of the relationship that was built between the mentee and the mentor. That's the point of that story.
Right.
Not to make everybody cry and feel
Yeah.
bad.
I understand.
And there was another situation, again, where the mentor and the mentee, again, there was an unfortunate situation that occurred, and completely different situation that occurred for the kid. Um, and actually a few situations where the mentee felt comfortable enough to confide in the mentor to help work through the trouble she got herself in. And she didn't feel comfortable enough talking to other people to help her through it. That's what a mentor's about too. Like that, like, you think of your best friend, right? Hopefully everyone has at least one best friend in their life. And
Right.
if you think about your best friend, and you think about how much you can tell them and how they're there for you, and they don't judge you. And they might yell at you and fuss at you, but that's your best friend, right? Because you can yell and you can fuss at them a little bit, right? And so you think about that, and you think how about that person's been with you for, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 years, maybe longer. And how you have, that's what we hope this is. Like, that's what we hope this gets to. Like, this is just not a temporary gig. My hope is that the matches that I have set up last until they're all 100 years old.
Yeah. Amazing.
Like, I mean, I do know of long-term mentor-mentee relationships. They're not mine. My program hasn't been around long enough, right?
Right.
But I
Right.
do know people that have had mentees that they've watched them grow up, get married, have children. It's just beautiful, right? It's just beautiful. And I equate it to that just best friend kind of thing.
I love the depth of the relationships and
Yes,
how authentic they are in order to have that trust in the two
yes.
situations that you shared. It because kids can pick phony out like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they have a BS factor. I mean, a flag that just is incredible. So to have these people show up in such a real, authentic way to gain that trust when these young people have not had an easy road up until now. Not that the mentor makes it better per se, but they give them someone they can rely on.
Absolutely.
Just help them navigate the journey that they're on. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's mind-blowing to me. Yeah, it is amazing. It's like more than I could hope for, right? Like, I'm all about, going for the walk and chit-chatting and talking and catching up, and, hearing about the boy problems from the teenage girls, or the girl problems from the teenage boys, and or whatever might be going on. That's all good too. They need a place for that too. But when you get into this deeper stuff, you know that those relationships are solid.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Good stuff, good stuff.
All right, I'm going to switch gears a little bit.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a volunteer journey? And if so, can you share about it?
I do have a volunteer journey. Um, I don't think it's as neatly and as succinct as like I'm a mentor for someone. Um, I I'd like to think that I'm that indirectly for not only, like I'd like to think that I'm some kind of decent role model for my program that I coordinate. But but I do have a volunteer journey. Like I have been a Girl Scout leader. Um and I did that for several years, couple years ago. And I, have volunteered with the SPCA because who can resist a little kitty cat or a puppy dog, right? And that's definitely fun to do. And and that's it's really nice. It's fun with cats and dogs, and a lot of people do that. And but I also am part of some organizations that are all volunteer driven and all volunteer army, if you will. So
Mhm.
like the Order of the Eastern Stars. So that's the sister organization to the Masons.
Yep.
Um, that organization I have belonged to for the last 14 years.
Okay.
And that organization, if folks that are listening to our podcast are not familiar, is it does have a faith-based component to it, but they are far reaching out into the community and do a tremendous amount of charity work. Raising money and funds for dog therapy programs I mean, one year we raised enough money to buy 3 vehicles for the Blind Association, 3 handicap vans. I mean, and if anybody knows about how much they cost, they're, between 60 to $100,000 because of all the modifications you got to do to vehicles to get them handicap prepared. Um, I also belong to an organization called Seroptimus International, and that's locally here in Chester County, Pennsylvania. And that is an organization that provides support, education, um, financial support, housing support for activities specifically for women and children. So we do a lot of things to help further the lives of women, so that they can have a more productive and more successful life and be able to raise their children in improved environments. Excuse me. And and we do a lot, and through that organization we do a lot of volunteer connecting in the community.
Okay.
We will stand and man the sidewalks of a community parade. We will go and we're just out there in the community doing whatever people ask us. We go and make the pretzels at the Kimberton Firehouse Fair that helps raise money for the firehouse. We're out there like doing all these things for the community. And we do a lot of fundraising so that we can give back money and scholarships to kids, and to parents to educate women, to educate them further. So yeah, I believe in volunteering. I think that I couldn't be an effective coordinator of a volunteer mentoring program unless I knew what it was like to volunteer and how good it feels to give back. And when you see people receive the things that you're able to do to help them, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's such a good feeling, that thing where they say, you know like you get more than you give, like that whole it's a two-way street. You're giving, and your heart is just like blowing up full of goodness and happiness because you're doing amazing things for people.
It's been referred to as being a soft glow.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know, soft
You
glow.
like the soft glow? That when you give and you're just giving so wholeheartedly to a person, to an organization, that as much as you're giving, that you receive back, and it just glows, that people just shine when
Yeah,
they're not intending to per se, but it comes back, and it's just other people can see that.
it's an amazing thing. It's kind of like paying it forward, right?
Yep.
So I always like, I'm so grateful that I have the capacity and the ability to do what I do, outside of my work. Um, and you know, because not everyone has that, right? And so I'm grateful for that, and I try to pay it forward. Try to pay it forward.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Okay, we are moving along and I'm enjoying our conversation.
Me
I
too.
have my fun question. I let you know ahead of time it was coming. A blooper. Something that it doesn't mean it went wrong. Like, I don't want you to think that. Something that didn't go as planned, just it wasn't what you thought it was going to happen. And what did you learn from it? Like, was there a lesson that came out of the situation?
Hmm. Well, I guess I'm thinking about that blooper as I think I've indicated a little bit in this conversation that we don't do a whole lot of group mentoring. Or maybe I didn't.
You
But
did.
if I didn't, I'm mentioning it
Yep.
now. um, because of yeah, I did because of the logistics of pulling people together. So there oh my goodness, there was a Friday evening that I we were trying to put together this was supposed to be a fundraising concert in the community of Limerick, Pennsylvania,
Yep.
which is not far from Chester County. It's the next county over. And it got postponed. I had like every match I had, every pair mentor mentee I had, I bought tickets for. Right? I bought the tickets for them. They were going to go, they were going to have a great time, and we were going to go out to dinner beforehand. So it got postponed. So then I got postponed to the second day. So I managed to get the whole troops together. Everybody was able to reschedule it. Oh, great, great, great. And then they canceled it.
No.
The event coordinators, because it didn't have anything to do with me. We were just supporting the cause.
Right.
And they canceled it. So lo and behold, there goes Rebecca trying. I'm like, I'm not losing this opportunity to have all these kids together and all these mentors together because it just doesn't happen. And I want it to happen. So I put this bowling activity together. Oh my goodness gracious. The logistics of trying to get all the kids to the bowling alley. And I ended up losing some of my matches. They didn't make it. And I'm just like, like it wasn't horrible, right? Like, but it was definitely a blooper in terms of like trying to bounce from one thing to the postponed event to trying not to lose all my couples, all my pairs together to a bowling event. And I lost some because I ended up having to get a van and drive all over and try to pick all the kids up, and I was just like, oh my goodness, it's like this is not working. So I guess what did I learn from that was
Yeah.
just like, I guess I need to make sure that the initial event I'm planning to take kids and their mentors to is something that's really going to happen. Like I didn't expect it to be postponed. It
Yeah.
was just it was postponed because the event coordinator said there wasn't enough tickets sold and they didn't feel it was worth their while. And I'm like, but like I've got like, 24 people that were coming, like, ouch,
Yeah.
you know? And it kind of like was disappointing to me, because I had such high hopes for that evening. So, definitely it would be something like I would try to make sure that I knew it was something I would know would definitely be happening next time,
Right.
if I can pull that off again, right? You
Right.
know,
That's awesome.
so yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, not everything goes perfect, right? And I'm certainly not perfect, and I just try to do the best I can. And I just want these mentors and mentees to have a great relationship and a great experiences, positivity, positivity.
Well, that kind of leads into we're at the end of our conversation. So I'm going to give you the floor to love, capital letters LOVE on JusticeWorks, on your mentor programs, on your mentors. Just love on them. Why should people get involved? Um, why should people, take interest in this? Just whatever comes to mind.
Wow. Boy, oh boy, I could talk for another hour on that. But the mentors that I have onboarded, I have mentors that don't have matches right now because we're still, we're looking for, kid referrals as well, to match with the mentors. I just love them to pieces. I have the most amazing mentors on board, and I am looking to build that. Um, so I want to say that first. And I have the kids I have that are paired up with my mentors are so much fun and are so cool. And, you know, they're doing good things. Like I just had a mentee graduate high school and she's in a tough situation, right? She's living with her sisters and they're raising her and she just graduated high school and got accepted to a university on a lacrosse scholarship. How beautiful is that? Like I just makes my heart happy. But why should people become a mentor? You know, mentoring um is about that whole part we were just talking about. Like it's about that relationship building and having that special friend that you guys can just go out and have a good time and do fun things together with. Um, mentors, as I said in the beginning, it's not about me. It's not about becoming a mentor because Rebecca wants you to become a mentor because it's a fun, cool thing to do. It is a fun, cool thing to do, but it's not about me. It's about the person in the community giving back to their community, to enrich the community, to enrich the bigger community, the broader community. I don't want to say the world because that sounds like kind of like, whoa,
Yeah.
but it kind of is, right? It kind of sort of is because you never know. You never know how you're going to impact that person, that little pearl that you bestow upon that child could be the thing that alters their life forever. You know, and it's just you just never know. The other cool thing about our mentoring program that I'd like to add because I think it's kind of important. Not for everybody, but I think it can be important for some people. So we have the capacity to financially reimburse mentors for the activities that they do when they go out into the community. And I share that here. I share this at every tabling event I go to and anywhere I can speak about the mentoring program. But I share it here because sometimes people will be like, well, oh my gosh, it's going to cost a lot of money to go see a show and go to dinner. It's going to cost a lot of money to go out to dinner and the movies. Like, the price of everything's going crazy, right? We don't want money to get between what you can offer from your heart, what you can offer from your mind, your heart, your total being to get in the way of having that relationship with a child. So what we do is you do have to put the money out first, but you bring me back a receipt and we reimburse you in cash. You don't have to wait for a check. I'm not going to say the check's in the mail,
Right.
right? So you don't have to wait for that. So I think that that's a nice little special perk of our particular program. I think it helps. Maybe not everybody needs that, and that's okay. Maybe not everybody wants it. I do have mentors that say no, thank you, and that's okay too. But I have it to give back to you. Um, and I just, and the other thing is, with this opportunity to be on this podcast, I want to share that the men of the community, any community that's listening to this podcast that's willing to come talk to me about mentoring a boy would be huge. One of the things in this country, it's not just Justice Works, it's not just my little mentoring program. In this country, there is a need for men to step up and be mentors for boys. And across the country, there's a shortage. It's across everywhere, every state in this United States, and probably even beyond. So if there's someone listening to this that would like, a man out there that would like to mentor a boy, um, please reach out to me. And it would just be a beautiful thing that you could give back to your community and give back to that young man and help his life go in a great direction. Um, I'd be so grateful, you know? It's
That's
good
awesome.
stuff. Uh,
I so appreciate this. This is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you, Stormy.
All right. I'm going to sign off. I'm going to say thank you for being our guest today. I know my listeners have thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. We will share Rebecca's contact information in the show notes. So if you're inspired or if you want to just learn more, please reach out to her. Um, it's vital, the work she's doing, the volunteering, the giving of the hearts to these young people. You're impacting the world. I'll say that. Not, I know Rebecca was like maybe not, but you are. And so
I'd like to say a little bit somewhere, maybe I am, yeah.
I think you are. No, some of the what you shared, the stories that you shared, absolutely. So thank you. If everyone's listening who found value, would rate and review this podcast wherever you watch or listen to it. It really helps other people have an opportunity to hear about these awesome stories. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Art of Volunteering. Have a great day.